One, two, one, two. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that. Spitting slow, spitting fast. I could roast, I could gas. Think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're worth my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you hide behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains at last, and to believe in what you got, it was built to last, yeah. Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I'm gonna learn the consequence of being incompetent. Mental health.
Hello, hello.
Welcome. This is DFG, the man with the golden voice, the lady's choice, and of course, smooth as a Rolls Royce. I'm coming to you live from the 571 where I'm having fun and I'm getting things done. Today is tax day. If you ain't pay your taxes, you got to midnight to pay your taxes. In some places, you got a little later. And it is also a special day. It's my sister Apple's birthday. She probably won't be on tonight, but hey, we're gonna holler at for you. I just want to do a quick tribute. I want to do a quick tribute before I start. First, I'm gonna holler at my girl Bean, the one never mean, and she's always lean. What's going on, Beanie? Holler from Binghamton.
As usual, hello, hello, hello. I just got off of work, headed home. I'm on GG duties tonight, so hopefully I'll be able to participate longer. But I wanted to say happy birthday to my beautiful favorite. Sorry to say that, my beautiful favorite sister. She's my favorite, and I do have one. So sorry for everybody else. Love y'all, but yeah, you're not her.
We all our own favorites. And also coming on, we got my favorite girl, the Chocolate Pearl. What's going on, Chocolate Pearl? Holler at me from Duval.
Hey everybody, this is Chocolate Pearl from Duval, calling you as sleepy as I am. Wasn't able to take my medication last night.
Hey, I
I couldn't get no
understand that.
sleep.
I
So,
understand that.
but I'm here. I'm here.
And I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Now, but without further ado, I'm going to play the birthday song for the birthday girl who's not here, but she's
You know
going to
what?
see it on the
I don't
rebound.
ever slow up, no I don't
Yeah,
take
she
shit.
said she gonna try to
I
get
got
on,
no love for the fakeness.
but you
If
know
you
it's her
wanna play
birthday.
tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.
Of course, I
I don't ever
posted
slow
this,
up, no I don't
but you
take
know how
shit.
that
I
goes.
got no
Gotta
love
gotta
for
play
the
it too.
fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show
That
up
lovely
and make a
smile.
statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit.
Like
I got
twins.
no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being
That's a
negative
young
when you
lady.
should be getting after it. I got
You
facts
know?
over facts over tracks, isn't that
Look at
spitting
all
slow,
that
spitting
fun
fast, I
you
can
have.
roast, I can gas,
Welcome to
think I'm all
TikTok land. I want to
badass,
thank
but
y'all
I
for
don't
coming
know
on.
if that can erase all the past and the pettiness. A reflection of the emptiness, hilarious. You think you're worth my time, you're delirious, mysterious, because you hide behind a fake exterior, inferior. You know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains that last.
People are funny
Happy
about that,
tax day.
but
Happy tax
I
day
tell
instead of
you,
happy birthday.
hey, I was 6 years old when she was born on that tax day. I guess our parents had to pay. They got a deduction that same day. Hey, ain't God good? Ain't God good? well, well, today's subject, ladies and gentlemen, is holding your partner down. Now, it last Thursday on my other show, Upscale Vibe Worldwide, who my girl Madam D is also on, I talked about 50-50. And my point was there's no such thing as a 50-50 relationship. No such thing as 100-100. However, there is a equitable split of duties and responsibilities. What that means is that you do what you do best, I do what I do best. Let's work together, let's grow together. If you're not growing together, you're growing apart. I'm just going to I'm just going to veer off from that today and say that, hold on, got a little glitch, and say that two income household, you're dating, you're married, you're cohabitating, whatever, y'all got a shared interest. One of the partners takes a significant pay cut or loses their occupation, loses their source of income. How long do you think you'll take before you tell that person they need to climb back on that horse because we need the money? Or do you adjust your lifestyle to fit your new situation? I'm going to start off with my happy couple, Dabs and Chocolate Pearl. Holla at your boy.
We just went through this. Um, Dabs had just moved in, only been here maybe a couple of months, and he lost his job. And so I held us down. I'm not gonna say I held him down. I held us down. But he's still, because he still got his hustling ways. He was still out there still hustling. So he wasn't sitting down doing nothing. He would go out there and Uber and Lyft. Whichever was paying good, he turned that one on. So he was always there and I was always there. And then when he got a job, I lost mine. And I don't even think it was 2 months, was it? No, you started in January and I lost my job in February.
Hey,
So
but
we're
did y'all
still
make
we're
any
still trying to
adjustments
play catch
to
up.
the loss of income though?
Huh?
Did y'all make did y'all make any adjustments to the loss of income?
Yeah. Yeah. We still making adjustments. I don't think he hears you, babe. We still making adjustments. But did we
Change our
change?
lifestyle. We
We
actually changed our lifestyle before uh, he lost his job. We don't go out to eat as much. We find some free
free. Uh,
things to do. We still do our little dates, but he's real good in trying to find
find
something
something
free. Free
free.
99, we love
Love
that.
that.
And we go to the park. So we
We
did
did
change
change our
our ways
way
before we
before
lost
we
our
lost our
job.
job.
So in a sense, only thing that was lacking was I
I
would
would
call
call the
it unnecessary
unnecessary
bills.
bills.
We
We
paid
paid
our,
out
we was able to handle our main bills, but the bills that
um,
we
we
can
can
let fall. I mean, we still
still
paid them,
pay.
but we didn't pay them like we used
So
to. I
I paid
paid. I
because I
used to
used to
pay
pay
double or almost the whole full bill.
double.
Now I gotta
Gotta
pay
pay
the
the
minimum
minimum
balance.
balance,
The
the
minimum
minimum
payment
payment
type
type
thing.
thing. So
So
yeah,
we
we
did
did adjust,
adjust, but
but
we
we
still
still
held
held
each
each
other
other
down.
down.
Now,
Now,
when it comes down to
to
how
how long?
long, unfortunately, no,
No,
it's
it's
not
not
unfortunate.
unfortunate.
Fortunately,
I'm
we
glad it wasn't that long.
yeah, fortunately it wasn't that long, and so it wasn't too much of
Been
a
through it
thing
longer.
we had to do. Huh?
I said I've been through it with someone else longer.
I
Well,
understand.
gotta cut
Cut that off. This is
So spill, Dabs. What you mean something longer? You did this longer.
Oh, 5, 6 years. I held everything down.
Did that make you resentful? Was you cool until you weren't cool? What happened?
Uh, well, I was always, I guess, resentful. It was a lot, it was a lot to carry, and hope stuff happened and stuff didn't happen, and you know, so I guess all in all, it comes to the end.
No, I understand. I understand because nobody wants to feel
Hmm?
nobody wants
I
to
was
feel
gonna
like
say
they're
break
being
it down
taken
to
advantage of.
what all you had to do.
Oh, well, she said break it down to what I had to do pretty much everything. I paid for everything, all the bills, all the payments, pretty much everything. I was taking care of, you know.
And what was your partner doing at the time?
Um, Nothing, not much, not even for a
Not
minute. Was
were
looking
they
for work.
able-bodied or
Oh, they
they
were
just said
able-bodied,
that's
yeah.
it?
They was able-bodied, just refused to be that. And then for 6, 7 months, just laid and did nothing.
Were they
And
depressed? Were they
there was some depression going on, of course. So yeah, but it was a lot of strain on myself. So
Was it depression? Um,
part of
what
depression.
was the depression for the other person based off of because you were pulling all of pulling the weight and they weren't and y'all were in a poor situation, or was it just something on that person's
just
something
something.
going what they were going through?
I think it was a lot of me doing pretty much pulling everything. Maybe for a while, we had business going and that kind of fell apart, and then after that went down, then it was just like all hope was lost or whatever. Instead of trying to get back out there and make something else happen, it was, oh, woe is me. Because I'm struggling trying to keep everything moving.
well with that, I understand when you feel like you're carrying on a load and other people aren't doing what they need to do and keeping you, keep you got the work. They call it being an atlas, having the world on your shoulders. It could breed resentment. It could breed just short temperedness. It could just bring change your attitude for the worse. It sounds like you got through it and possibly got over it, but it still lingers in your mind. Would I be correct?
That's Well, obviously got through it. I don't know, quite got over it because I wouldn't probably be sitting here with this beautiful woman if I hadn't got,
Gotten past it. I
yeah.
understand. I definitely understand. Madam D, have you ever had to hold your person down?
I haven't really experienced that because when I was living with my son's father, he paid everything by choice. But I am like a team player, but that was just the way he was. So we never experienced that. However, I do believe that when you're a couple and if you're, living together, married, that you should live off of one income and not live above your means, like within your budget, because if life happens and if something happens, then you need to hopefully be able to carry that load. However, some people are not there. Some people like, I didn't sign up for this, and they will bail. So it just depends on the couple.
Well, do you think that's a personality thing, or is it just some people are just selfish?
I think some people are just selfish because I know a guy that was in a really bad accident and he lived, his brain was all over the highway or whatever. but he lived, but he was disabled. You know, it left him with cognitive problems. And his wife was like, I didn't sign up for this. And she actually divorced him.
And probably took half whatever he had. That's sad. And that's,
Yes.
but you know,
Excuse me, but isn't that in the vows? Like for better and
Oh,
worse,
yeah.
sickness and health. But
Oh,
so
yeah,
she
yeah.
did sign up. I don't understand that statement. No, I'm not saying that. But when people say that I didn't sign, yes, you did.
for
That's what the
sickness and
papers
in
that you
health.
actually, you know.
Well, I think it's just being selfish. There's some people, you know, whatever reasons that they're not there for
And
sickness and in health.
here's the question with that. Here's the question. You know, that person who did that, and there could be plenty reasons. There could be plenty of reasons. You know, she might have, and I don't know the situation. I'm just saying she could have tried and said, you know, after a while she got overwhelmed, but instead of asking for help, she just decided to cut the cord and go live her life. She could have she couldn't she couldn't she probably, you know, the loss of income could have been it. She was expected to be taken care of. She didn't expect to take care of him
Right.
financially, logically, and all those other things. There are a whole bunch of reasons. So I'm not gonna pass judgment and say she did an awful thing, because she probably did it to the best of her capabilities. Meaning, she probably wasn't in it to win it to begin with, and that's where I'm going with. They are, and being you right, it's supposed to be vows for, you know, sickness and health, for richer for poorer, till death do us part. What God hath joined, let no man put asunder. So that's, you know, those are those things is that, like Chocolate Pearl and Dabs are doing. They adjusted their lifestyle, so if someone did take a big financial hit, it affect them. Of course, it's going to affect them when you lose money, when money's out of your pocket. However, you got to look at it as we have to be able to thrive and not just survive. And how do you do that? Being prudent with your money, not doing everything for fun. Don't let that money burn your pocket. Just have it. Just make sure that, you know, you're not squeezing a penny to the Lincoln screen, but you gotta be able to coordinate and do right, and making sure that you and your partner are working together. Because if it's my money is your money and your money is your money, that ain't gonna work. That's a bad way to start off. Now, as in your situation, Madam D, you said your money was no good with your partner, and some guys are like that. Probably fewer today than it was 20, 30 years ago, but you know, it happens, and you know, it happens. But the thing is that, and a lot of us aren't. We have, especially in today's society, unlike our parents, we weren't built to take care of people outside of ourselves, and maybe our kids. We weren't built for that, and that's a fact. When my mother's last decade on Earth, last decade on Earth, the 2000s, she stayed with me for about a year and a half, and she couldn't be around me, so she moved back to New York with Apple and Bean. She was with them for like 6 months, and then she went to Chocolate Pearl, where she stayed until she couldn't physically take care of her anymore, and that was tough. And I gotta give my Pearl a big props, because she'll tell you I gave her 6 months because they were too much alike. Their personality clash. I gave him 6 months. She had her for almost 8 years. 8 years. Now there were some calls sometime, and I had to talk to my mother and kind of get her on steam, but we were all chipping what we had to make sure our mother was comfortable. These days, I don't know if these kids are built for that. I don't know if our kids are built to take care of other people outside themselves, because we've allowed we and I mean society, not us individually.
They a bunch of coddled babies.
I wasn't gonna say that. because it's not their fault they're coddled. It's our fault for coddling them. But what I'm saying is that a lot of us didn't prepare our kids to be able to handle great adversity. Now, some of us can do that, and some of us were born to do that. However, when you're trying, when you're barely making it, and then you get another plate, another piece item on your plate, you have to get yourself straight and then figure out how to take care of somebody else. And a lot of us didn't teach our kids that, because if I don't know if y'all noticed, but nursing homes are getting full. Nursing home baby boomers are going to nursing homes, and their kids ain't taking care of them. They'll go see them every once in a while, but they ain't taking care of them. So if it's like that for us Gen Xers and millennials, it's going to be kind of worse, because we did everything for our kids. Most of us did. We did most of the stuff for our kids, so they expect to be taken care of. They're not. We didn't allow them to be self-sufficient until we told them, you can't live in my house no more. And sometimes we take our relationship like that. If someone was doing what they, was making sure all the bills were paid or paying their portion and they can't, is the other person big enough to say, I'll hold it down, and for how long? Now that's the big question. Can you do a year? Can you do a year, just toughen it out for the next so your person can get together? And maybe it's not a physical injury. It could just be they suffer from depression. Will you be able to get past that and be able to make it so that you're going to be that person to join that next level and give a person as comfortable a life as you can within your watch? But eventually you'll get tired. I want to say, what's going on, Ace Goody? And I want to thank you, Val, for coming on. I'm talking about holding your partner down, making sure that you're, if one person loses something, will the other person pull a weight, or will they just cut string? Bean, have you ever had to do that?
I'm sorry, I was talking. Do what?
Have you ever had to hold somebody down that wasn't your
No,
kids?
no. Unfortunately, excuse me, it's not even unfortunately. Fortunately, I've always had the support of my family, and I try to show support the way I can. Like, I know earlier in my young adult life, I wasn't employable, so I had to do other things in order for me to make do. I was with a guy for almost, I'm gonna say, 18 years. And I think in the long run, I was in the relationship for his mother more than I was for him. So that's how I felt. Okay, I'm in a relationship and I have feelings for you. I'm not in love with you. You're helping me out, I'm helping you out. And then I wound up becoming his mother's home attendant, and things of that nature. So it was a beneficial thing, but then it turned into toxic to where I actually had to leave the state. So
Right.
it wasn't toxic like violent toxic, it was just toxic to where I had to leave the whole environment.
Understood.
So it's hard. So like, it's hard. I don't know. I know communication is the key when it comes to things like that. As far as like when you with somebody, you have to actually sit down, and sometimes you have to actually plan out who's, or what, like you said, who's going to do it and for how long, because that is an extra weight. That's like Atlas. You got the whole world on your shoulders. You ain't that. You only human. You only human. You can only do but so much. So I don't know. And I commend the people that actually do it, and they do it for multiple years and sometimes decades upon decades. They doing it by themselves. And I
Yes.
commend them. I commend them because a lot of the times it's not about being like a people pleaser or anything like that. They a lot of time is, oh, this is like sometimes like, oh, I'm the oldest, or I'm the male, or I have that responsibility, and it's not even half the time it's not even supposed to be your responsibility, you know. But a
Right.
lot of people take that on, and a lot of people take advantage. So when now that I'm purposely single, I could look at the people around me that are in healthy relationships and say, oh, okay, now I understand. Now I'm seeing. I don't know, I don't. Yeah, I'm a late bloomer, but now I'm seeing. I'm like, oh, it's possible. It's possible with communication and honesty. I don't know,
Right.
and I'm gonna say
Right.
Pearl and Black showed me a lot of things in as far as being in relationships, healthy or not. Y'all actually showed me a lot, the way I'm like, okay, when and if I do choose to actually be in a committed full relationship, I know how to conduct myself and not be ratchet.
That's a and understanding where you came from.
Took me a while to
That's
get there though.
yeah, yeah. But that's all right. But
But
she's there, and
I'm getting
that's the
there.
important thing.
I'm getting
And,
there.
and,
I ain't
and
got there,
trust
but
me,
I'm getting there.
I'm very proud of how much you've got over your own adversities, and well, I told you that more on more than one occasion. Miss Andrine, how's
What?
life in
Hold on.
London? I know it's 3 o'clock in the morning. Well,
It
two
is
o'clock in the
well.
morning.
It is nice here in London.
So have you had to hold somebody
Yeah,
down?
I know. 2 o'clock in the morning.
Have you had to
Yes,
hold
I
somebody
have.
down
And
with
I feel like down, and I don't even know at the time. I feel like I was just so used to holding things down in my marriage. I just did it. It was that was my role. It was just like you needed to do what needed to be done. So I kind of just always kind of like held the whole family down and just made sure everything was done. So I always find it interesting when to like have that other person to there to kind of hold you down. I feel like I'm not necessarily used to that. So it's an interesting dynamic.
so that's so did your parents do 50-50 or equitable?
Hear you.
You're coming in kind of broken. Can you hear me? Dream?
It looked like she froze.
She froze. Okay, that
Yeah.
good old European
But
internet.
what I wanted to share another story when you was talking about, holding people down. Now, I remember when I was uh I think I was working for US Foods at the time, and I lost my job. And I came home and I told my husband at the time, I told him, I said, I lost my job. He looked and he said, so what we gonna do now? I looked at him and I said, are you serious? So that really shook me. It made me look at him in a totally different light, other than what I was already looking, seeing. But it showed that once again, I had to be the one to hold us down. Because if you tell somebody who you have a job and I'm telling you I lost mine, to me, I would have thought, well, baby, we're going to get over this. We'll get through this. I got you, like Dabs did. But what we going to do now? was something, strange. So with him saying that, it actually made me go into my what we call my daddy mode. I had to get my hustle on, so I got to the point where I got my hustle on to where my kids didn't even realize that I didn't have a job. And they knew I didn't, but it didn't seem like anything. They didn't go without. I made sure everything was there. I made sure the bills were paid. I was out there, I was printing t-shirts. I was, doing weddings and doing parties and decorating here, making jewelry, doing a bunch of stuff just so I can try to supplement my income that I lost. And it's just terrible that you have somebody with an income felt that they couldn't hold us down and wanted to know what we're going to do now. So it's kind of hard. So you start resenting that person, and it grows and it grows and it grows. Now, but if you have someone, to me, I feel if I have someone that I'm with, and obviously it's going to be a man, if that man loses his job, I'm gonna try to hold him down as long as possible. But in the midst of that, when it starts to seem that it's starting to get hard for me, I feel I shouldn't have to say, okay, it's time for you to get off that couch and start really busting your behind, figure something out. I feel that a true man or a true woman will realize the struggle that the other person is going through and will get up and try to do something. Like I stated, when he told me what we're going to do now, I knew that was the sign to say, okay, I can't help you. So you're going to have to try to figure something out to save our family because you lost your job. And that's what I took at it. So me starting to really dislike him, even though I tried to change those once I got a job, but it was already lost. It was just totally lost. And the last 10 years of our marriage just kept going downhill.
You definitely lost respect for him.
I lost respect for him.
I'm a witness. I am a witness.
But because of that, if you have a strong relationship and with your spouse or your significant other, if anything that happens, it's going to not just happen to them, it's going to happen to us. And we got to realize when stuff like that happens, we have to say, okay, I got to step up. I got to figure something else out. When Dabs lost his job, I said, okay, baby, I got us, until he can find something. So he was able to take his time and look for something. But because he's a true man, he felt that he still couldn't sit around and not do something or bring some type of income in here to help. So he went out there to Uber. He went out there to Lyft. Oh, he picked up a couple of more DJ gigs, or we were out there vending more. Even into the smallest things that we didn't make nothing, we still was out there trying to make some money in some type of way. That's a true man. That's a true relationship. But when you got a relationship that's half-tailed, then you ain't gonna have nobody that got your back. You don't, just period. You're not gonna have anybody to have your back.
And that's a big thing, is that when you don't feel that somebody's got your back, it just takes all the wind out of you. If they're not on their purpose and you're on your purpose, you can do things and get better. And that's why I say, you got to grow together and not grow apart. Miss Kim, have you ever had to hold somebody down?
Just myself for a very long time.
So how would you so when you were previously married, did you ever have to hold your then husband down with anything, or did he handle most of the stuff?
No, I handled most of the stuff to the point that I had to go get a second job just to hold on to my house. I was married, but he was absent most of the time for the marriage. So I'm used to doing things on my own during that time. And then when I did lose my job, it was devastating to me. And it was in the midst of COVID that I did lose my job. And it actually was during the time that I met you, DFG, and you showed me a lot of support during that time. And that was something that I wasn't used to, having that type of support during that time, because I had started battling with depression because I was always used to working all the time. And being unemployed, that was just devastating to me. But knowing that I had the support that I had from my children as well as you, made a huge difference to the point that I wound up finding a job in a
And
whole
that's,
nother town.
I mean, but if you're going to be a halfway decent person, and I'm not saying that I'm a great person, I'm a halfway decent person, you're going to be a cheerleader for whoever you're with, because that's, in any capacity, whether it's romantic, platonic, you're going to be that person's cheerleader. You're going to give them the real, but you're not gonna try to beat them down, because
Yeah,
I've seen people, I've seen it where he or she was in a situation and their partner would just be like, "You useless, you this, you that," putting death into them. Family members, you ain't
yeah,
you ain't never gonna be this, you ain't never gonna be that, you ain't never gonna do this, you're never gonna do that. I've seen it, and personally, I didn't live it. I'm not gonna say I didn't live it, but I didn't live it, but I've seen it too many times. So whenever whoever's a part of my life, I'm always going to try to speak life into
yeah.
them.
Well, I just felt like I didn't want to be around nobody during that time. And with, the conversation with just my kids and you yourself kind of helped me pull myself up again on my bootstraps. And I was gainfully employed. And not to say I went through it a second time. And I was actually here in Virginia when I lost the job the second time. And I wasn't out of work as long as I was, but I still had your support. And it wasn't as bad because I found another job quickly, but just having the support system that I did have helped me. So what I did to show my gratefulness of having that support, I showed in various ways of how I thank people for being there for me, whether it's, just doing little things and giving back in various ways.
And that's, I mean, it's always good to, you know, the Lord says it's better to give than to receive. So saying that, y'all know, everybody that knows me know I don't want nothing from nobody. And Pearl used to jump on me about that all the time, because I won't say nothing, I won't do nothing, and like I said, everybody in here know me. I know I'm that, and I've gotten better over the years. But what I had to realize, and going through therapy helped me with that, was if you are if you are receiving, the gift is not really for you. It's an acknowledgement from the person that they cared enough to do something for you. If they didn't care about you, they just leave you on the street and let you be who you want to be instead of who you need to be. And I appreciate everybody who's done things for me. Sometimes I don't say it. Sometimes I try to fight it, but I have to really fight myself to accept gifts from folks, because that's not, I've never been about that. But like I said, I want to put it to everybody that I'm a I am a giver in that way. I rather give than receive, but receiving is never bad. Receiving is never bad. It's just when you have an expectation to receive, that's, somebody's doing something out of the goodness of their heart. They shouldn't a person shouldn't expect it to be done for them. Am I making sense?
Yes.
Chocolate Pearl's not a yeah.
Yes,
So
yes.
it's
Because I've been through that as well. Where I'm
oh yeah.
always giving, 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 and I wasn't getting back, or I wasn't even being appreciated of what I was doing. I was in the depression mode. So one of my coworkers said, "Well, you know what? Let's do a girls trip to North Carolina." I said, "Okay." So we go on, and it was during Super Bowl weekend. So we go to North Carolina, do um, the trip. Nobody checked on me to see if I made it there safely or nothing. While I was out there, I wound up going shopping. And the only thing I could think of was my family when I was shopping. So I was buying stuff for them versus not buying anything for me. When I get back and I was showing them, I said, "Well, look what I, bought back. Oh, we'll see it later."
See, I know exactly what you're talking about. I don't even
And
get
then,
phone calls from family.
yeah, I don't
Yeah.
either. I'm being honest with you. Only people that
Yeah.
call me are my siblings. And my children, well, my
My
oldest and my
siblings don't even
youngest.
call.
Oh, I'm blessed. I'm blessed because my
You are.
siblings
You
will
blessed.
call. My sibling, not now, not the male siblings, except for Andrea
Yeah.
texts us, but the female siblings, they will call. I will say that they will call, and I love that, because if every time I need somebody, I'm there. But when it comes down to my children, it's not there. When it came down to my ex, it wasn't there. I did so much, and
Yeah.
DFG could tell you, I did so much for my family that if you asked me to do something, I kept my word, but they would break their word to me,
Exactly. Right.
and
I got
until I got sick, I realized, wait a minute. And nobody came to visit me
you.
but my siblings. And it would seem like the one that lives here, it was a struggle for him to come see me.
Well, we kind
Came
of
with
know we
laptop.
kind of know what we kind of know why Chocolate
Yeah.
Pearl. So yeah, let's
But
not go down
anyway,
that road.
yeah, we're not gonna go down. But it's just the fact that, I had cancer. I could have died. I went through a 10-hour surgery.
Yeah.
It- and people from New York had to come to Florida just to see me. And so this is the appreciative thing of that. If you have a village, keep them tight.
Exactly.
Because when you get into that situation where you have a significant other of whatever type it is, and they lose their job or they lose their finances or just lose their lives, and can you hold yourself down? Can you
Yeah.
hold your kids down? We have to put ourselves in a particular situation to where if that person that you say you love is not doing what they're supposed to do, are you going to continue on with life? Are you going to continue hustling? Are you going to continue doing what you got to do? But then again, if that person's still able, willing, or not willing, but is able to physically find something, create something, do something to make some money to help you bring into the
Hmm.
house to keep your head above water. I mean, I just want to put the nose over. I could breathe with the mouth, just put my nose over there.
Right.
You have to know what your limits are and what your limits aren't. Like I said, once I moved here to Florida, I realized I was on my own, and I was blessed with my siblings to help me whenever times got a little hard. And I, I got into my creative mode again, and then when I met Dabs, he really made me get out there and do that creative situation and, to flourish more. So it's if you have to find the right Boaz. When you
Yeah.
find your right Boaz, then you you right on time. But
Yeah.
don't let them busters steal
Hey,
your joy.
hey, don't pick the
Well,
wrong
Chocolate
Boaz
Pearl,
because
I
you'll make your
appreciate
po
you.
ass.
Just when we have our little sidebar on instant messenger, that means a lot to me because, like I said, my siblings are older than me. So if I don't get the phone calls checked on, I have to do the phone call. I have to call them. They never call me. They have actually come through here in Virginia and called. Well, why didn't you let me know earlier? You could stop by. So we don't have that closeness. So that's why I always appreciate when I am around y'all as a family and see how y'all bond. It kind of makes me kind of teary-eyed because that's something I always wanted in my life.
Now we didn't always have that. We didn't
Well,
always
I
have
know,
that.
yeah.
Well,
But
can I say something off the topic? My topic is about children not calling. My son went out the country for the first time, and I only got one phone call from him this morning at 4 o'clock in the morning. So I don't know what's going on with my kid. So yeah,
Oh, don't. Hey, I'm gonna
get over
be
that.
straight. Hey, yeah, you gonna have to just
Get
Yeah.
over that.
I hear from the youngest daughter all the time, but that oldest one of mine, she got her own life with her
Get
thing.
over that. Yeah, get
Hey,
over that.
hey,
They
Mm-mm.
hardly ever call.
Be happy
your
he
nephew,
called you that one time.
Yeah,
your nephew
that's a
calls you. Your
blessing.
nephew called me once in the last 2 years. My middle one. He calls mom every day. He called.
He
He called.
called you?
He called me once
He
and
must
asked
have
me
been
where was his
bored.
food. Actually, where was his food?
I
He's
knew
like,
it had to be a reason. An accident, he was bored, something. I knew it had to be a
he's like,
reason. Because he don't never call you.
He said, Dad, where's my food? I said, your mother didn't tell me. He said, I'm hungry. I'm like, what do you want? Wendy's. Don't bacon. What is that? Baconator. I'm like, you're not getting a Baconator. I said, you get what I get you. You know how I get with him.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's still doing well. I gotta shout him out. It's been about almost a month, and I hadn't gotten them calls.
I see. Don't so you speaking. You put it in the atmosphere. Stop doing that. Stop doing that. Stop doing that. Stop doing
I
that.
know,
Tell
but
him
I was
that
trying
I'm
to.
telling Auntie Tawana gonna come visit.
Oh,
He'll behave.
he'd be hiding from the aunts.
you know he don't like that. He don't like to hear the answer coming at all.
Exactly.
Because this one I snitch on everything. I'm telling on
Hold on.
everything.
She snitched. That's a crazy thing. She snitched. I fuss. And Apple is the one that's real nice.
And quiet.
She lets him get away with stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
She lets him get away. I fuss at him.
Oh yeah. Trust
Listen,
me.
they too big. They too big for me to be fighting. So I'm gonna tell on you. I ain't gonna tell the Lord, but I'm gonna tell the appropriate. I'm gonna tell the appropriate people.
That would
Yeah.
that would definitely be me. But no, but
I ain't
it's good.
scared. I ain't scared.
It's good to be able to have family and friends that you can actually talk to and be around and just because life wasn't always a crystal stair. So it's good that even in our getting up there, I'm pushing 60. Say I know Dabs is already there and Madam D is already there, but I'm not that far. I'm a not even a hop, skip, and a jump. I'm on a banana peel.
2 seconds, yeah. You 2 seconds. You 2 seconds away. 2 seconds away.
So, and life is too short to be running around being mad at folks.
Mm-hmm.
And no, Miss Victorious on TikTok. I'll be 59 in October. So yes, black doesn't crack, but you can sure smoke
Please
it.
stop reminding me. Please stop, because every year you get older, I get older, and it's just making me sad.
Yeah.
Look,
What,
A
couple
couple of weeks
I told you
after.
already, Bean. You still a baby. Quiet down.
Yeah, no. Okay, yeah, I might be the youngest on on this thing, but I'm almost at the AARP, and that's just shocking.
Said the AARP.
she gets it next. She'll get it next year in 2026. She get that AARP card.
It don't work.
Aren't y'all for 50 these days?
Every place you go, they say, "Oh, we don't take that."
I know.
They keep changing the age.
It's going to get worse, but it's going. But the thing is, though, as you get older, Be like Miss Andrine and travel more. Be like Chocolate Pearl. Go out and do things. Be like Miss Kim and be the emotional heart of wherever she's at. Be like Bean and just Bean people calm down when they're around Bean. Even when she upset, they just start laughing like. But she just has that way about her. Be like Dabs
No,
and be.
they said the exact same thing at work today. That's not cool. I am not Joe Pesci. I am not a clown.
Look, no, you just too cute. You so cute.
Thank you.
You're sticky and you're still cute. Keep that. Keep
Right,
that.
hold
That's
on.
why. That's why. You be like Miss D, Madam D, and just keep doing her thing. Look at her. Look at her avatar. She looks good. She looks good. Black don't crack, and I'm saying it like that. But it's all good though. We gotta. But sometimes some people aren't worth holding on to. Some people are not.
Seasons.
Some people in your life for a reason, and some people in your life for a season.
What season?
That's right.
Believe that. You just gotta. Sometimes we get the two mixed up,
Ooh.
and sometimes we want our reason to be our season, and sometimes we want our season to be our reason, and then we
But
want
when
then
you
we
get in
mad when
your
things don't
50s,
go. Exactly.
and you realize that everything that you're
you're
doing is not for you, you need to learn to make it for you. And that's
what I'm doing. I'm making it for me. Me and Dabs is living the life. Poison
y'all, we still living
life. We are rich. We are so rich right now. We are rich. Somebody said that earlier. You can be rich in different ways. You don't have to be rich in currency, but you can be
Amen.
rich in so many ways. And him and I right now are the wealthiest people around.
Yes, and
Oh,
go ahead, Dabs.
I was gonna say I just told her last night I was sitting out on my porch and having been drinking and smoking a cigar, talking to myself. It's not too bad being an old man once in a while. You can just sit out and do what you want to do when you want to do it.
Yeah, and like I always say, 10 o'clock because it's new 2 a.m.
Right there.
I still can't feel that one though.
No, I'm glad you said that because my neighbor upstairs, she had called me. It was like a little after 9. I think it was almost 9:30. And she had called me to borrow something. And she was like, "Can I borrow such and such?" I said, "Sure." She said, "Good." So when she came downstairs, I said, I had got it all together and I went into the hallway and I called her name out and she didn't hear me. So when she finally came down, I said, "Well, I was calling you up there." She said, "Yeah, I was trying to help you come down." I said, "Because I know it's after 9:30 because I know you go to bed early." I was making sure I was making sure I caught that. I said, "Yeah, I was in there ironing my clothes when you called. I was ironing my clothes because at 10 o'clock is it. I'm done." She
Look,
said, young girl already know my routine. Don't come knocking on my door after no 10 o'clock.
said, look.
I don't
Last
play
night I
that.
was supposed to. We had our production call for Upscale Vibe Worldwide. It was at 9:30. I didn't even make it. I didn't even make it.
So
Fab
your
call, text.
your 10 is turning to 9:30, and then soon it's
Yeah,
gonna
I
be
was
9.
done. I was done.
Well,
But
y'all know I'm only up because I just got off of
You don't
work.
count. Yeah, you don't
Okay,
count
look.
because you in the bed at 7 o'clock
and you ain't
on your
50
days
yet,
off,
so you
and you
still
ain't
on
even
you still on
50.
young
You
people
don't count.
time. To us, you're a
Listen,
YN, a
my bed is
YG.
my best friend.
Don't get that
My bed
Similac,
is
girl.
where I don't get in trouble at. Listen.
She is
I don't
the
get,
oldest young person in our family. She is the old lady, but she's one of the
No,
youngest.
not anymore. That's Kamani.
oh yeah, my great
Yeah,
great grandniece, yeah, she's older than me.
yeah,
Kamani,
You know.
Kamani's a senior citizen.
And
We
she
ain't even in
another one that told
kindergarten.
me she told me I was a tattletale. So she don't like me sometimes because I tattletale.
So
So
I can see it now. I can see it now. Y'all go into the bingo hall, and they card you and let her in.
Ah,
Who need to be on here? We're talking about her grandbaby. Lord have mercy.
But it's all good though. It's all good. But look, my body clock is telling me it's close to time to shut this down. I want to thank everybody in TikTok land. I want to thank everybody in YouTube land. I want to thank everybody in Facebook land and IG land and wherever else you might have seen us. Telephone, tell a friend. Next week, DFG's Corner will be back again. And before we go, I want to, hey, Bean, what you got to say and wish your sister a happy birthday.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I'm not going to break it down because I'll break the internet with my voice. But happy birthday, sissy. Happy birthday. Love you. And don't forget, like, subscribe, share,
Share.
and I'm out of here.
That's what's up. See, it runs in the family. Go ahead, Chocolate Pearl.
All right, because I can't take my medication again tonight, so I'm hoping I get some sleep because I'm taking a different medication for pain. But thank you so very much for sharing. For showing up and listening to our rambles, and hopefully y'all learn something, and hopefully you get something out of this. And thank you. So like, share, and subscribe as usual on every social media platform.
Yes, and I want to thank Miss Kim for coming on. I want to thank Miss Dream. I want to thank Madam D. I want to thank Miss Nikki on YouTube. I want to thank a lot of other people, and I just want you to know that we're here. We're not queer, even though that's okay if you are. And we want y'all to come every week. It's like a family call, but you're all family while you're in here. So I'm going to close this by saying my saying, never make love by the garden gate. Though love is blind, the neighbor